the MUA. Former Industrial Relations Minister in the Howard government, knows an awful lot about the way port disputes works. Is Peter Reith. He joins us in our Melbourne studio. Peter, good evening. Apparently the ports aren't shut down. Everything's okay. There's just picket lines and people get called scabs if they go on the other side of them.
Yeah, well, not everything is okay because they've been told by Fair Work Commission for these people to go back to work, and they've just blatantly, refused to go back to work as required by the Fair Work Commission. So, I mean, as usual with the MUA, they couldn't give a damn about the law. They couldn't give a damn about the impacts on Australian businesses. They're just looking after themselves at the expense of everybody else. And, of course, they're saying, oh, there's been no discussion, etc. Now, that's just not true. The fact is that they were told months ago, back in June, that the company was struggling in terms of having enough work for the number of people that they had, and so it's a difficult situation for the business, Hutchinson, which is not one of the bigger ones, it's one of the smaller ones in Australia. And to my knowledge, they've acted entirely reasonably. Even the question about emails, that's actually a part and parcel of the agreement, which was agreed to, a long time ago, that you could send out information to people about jobs through email. So, look, it's just classic MUA, as usual, only interested in themselves.
Now, it is amazing that a dispute like this has essentially only been covered from one side, and that is the endless sympathy about the people losing their jobs via text or email. Now, let's be honest, there is nothing nice about losing your job in that fashion. But are you surprised the federal government hasn't stepped up more? And they don't want to ramp this into a full waterfront war, but it is amazing that nobody seems to be having a problem with certainly the Brisbane port, which was closed for some time because of the actions of the MUA. The Sydney port was as well.
Well, look, there are laws that require people to observe the situation in respect of fair work and the like. I mean, the MUA's, had a whole long history, basically, of, thumbing their nose to everybody. It was only really in 1998 and probably 10 or 15 years after that we really got on top of the situation, and which was fantastic for everybody, not just for the guys working, namely the wharfies, but of course it was great for business in the country, great for the farmers and everybody else, because they had reliability, had far better productivity and the like. Now, of course, one of the outcomes of the waterfront dispute going back all those years was that we still had the MUA running a monopoly, and that was unfortunate. And of course, the MUA have always used that as a tool, basically, to feather their own nest, and it's very difficult to do anything much about that, regardless of the law, because look, they take a fine of 200 grand, like this one in WA. From the MUA's point of view, that's just part of the business, but it's a business cost. They don't see it as being, part and parcel of acting against the law, and that's one of the problems about dealing with them.
Yeah, just extraordinary. Just finally here, what about the way the Labor Party carried on today, and they went boots and all onto Dyson Heydon? Look, the truth is, whoever invited him to that function, absolutely ridiculous. Whether he knew it was a Liberal Party function or not, that's for the coming days. But some of the stuff they basically said in and out of the House today, if it was anyone else, they'd be sued.
Yeah, and I mean, the incredible gall of these people. I mean, I was amazed that Tony Burke was there because, he's usually away off with the kids up at Uluru or somewhere. I mean, fancy putting him up, as the guy, who wants to, establish standards, for heaven's sake, crikey. I mean, look, the Labor Party is just absolutely desperate about this Royal Commission because it has exposed corruption, all sorts of shocking behaviour by the unions. But of course, Bill Shorten, what is he? Former union guy. I mean, most of their front bench, they're all union types. And this is one of the big things, one of the bad things for Australia, that the Labor Party has become more unionised than ever. They're in the hands of these people. They really hold Australia back. It's a huge problem, and sadly the coalition hasn't taken the issue on. I mean, that Productivity Commission report recently, what a disappointment. I mean, they couldn't even go across to New Zealand to, you know, have a look at how things run far better in New Zealand than Australia. And Australia's going to pay a very heavy price for it. Not so obvious at the moment because, quite frankly, the economy's pretty average as it is. But for the future of this country, it's one of the big worries about, you know, where things are going for Australia.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, Peter. Appreciate chatting to you. Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
See you later. Peter Reith there. All right, panel this